Shadow was born on a cold December night, the smallest of his litter. Shadow was born on a cold December night, the smallest of his litter. He was so tiny the breeder almost overlooked him entirely. While his brothers and sisters were loud and boisterous, Shadow was quiet and gentle. He simply watched the world with soft, hopeful eyes, a silent observer from the very beginning. Then, a little girl named Miller found him. She saw the tiny black puppy struggling to reach a food bowl that was far too big for him, and her heart just melted. She knelt down beside him, carefully scooping the fragile puppy into her arms. "He's the one I want," she whispered, and in that instant Shadow knew what love felt like. It was warm, it was safe, and it was immediate. From that day forward, their bond was unbreakable. Days turned into months, and Shadow grew into a loyal, calm companion who followed Miller everywhere. He was her shadow in every sense of the word. He would wait patiently at the gate every single day for her to come home from school, his tail starting to wag the very moment he caught a glimpse of her down the road. When Miller cried, Shadow would rest his head gently on her lap, a silent source of comfort. And when she laughed, he would dance in clumsy, happy circles around her feet. He wasn't just her pet. He was her constant, her comfort, her home. Years passed, as they always do. Miller grew older, school became harder, and her life filled up with new friends, new hobbies, and new responsibilities. Shadow, now with a muzzle turning grey and his steps a little slower, continued to wait by the gate each afternoon. He waited even when Mila started coming home late, distracted by her studies or her social life. He waited even when the quick pat on the head was replaced by a rushed hello from the doorway. Rain or shine, he sat by that gate, his eyes fixed on the road. He was always hoping, always expecting, always loyal. That was his purpose. That was his love for her. But time is a gentle but relentless force. One winter morning, Shadow woke up much slower than usual. His old legs trembled beneath him, and his breaths came in short, soft wheezes. The world felt heavy. Mila noticed as she was getting ready for school. She knelt down and stroked his head. "We'll go to the vet after school. I promise," she told him, her voice filled with concern. Shadow managed to nuzzle her hand, a flicker of his old self. He knew she meant it, but a part of him also knew he might not have that much time left. After Mila left, Shadow tried to make his usual journey to the gate. It was his post, his duty. But halfway there, his legs gave out. They felt so heavy, as if the earth was gently pulling him down, inviting him to rest. He couldn't make it to the gate. Instead, with the last of his strength, he slowly walked over to Miller's old wooden swing set. It was the one she used to sit on for hours, reading stories aloud to him when they were both younger. He curled up right beneath it, the faint smell of her childhood still clinging to the weathered wood. It was a comforting scent. The wind was cold, but it felt soft against his fur. The world around him grew quiet and peaceful. Shadow closed his eyes, thinking of Mitt. He was tired, he was ready to rest. When Miller returned home that afternoon, she saw him immediately. Curled under the swing, looking so peaceful, as if he were just taking a nap. She dropped her school bag, and a cold feeling of dread washed over her. She ran to him, falling to her knees in the cold grass. "Shadow, Shadow, I'm here. I'm home," she whispered, her voice breaking. But the gentle dog, who had waited for her every single day of his life, had taken his last quiet breath hours before she arrived. His wait was finally over. Miller held him close, her tears soaking into his soft fur. It was only then, in the crushing silence of that moment, that she truly understood. Shadow had never, ever stopped waiting for her, not even at the very end. She buried him right there, under the swing set, so he would always be in the place he loved most, a place filled with memories of her laughter and her stories. She knew he would be there, watching over her, forever loyal, even in silence. And now, every time the winter wind blows, gently pushing the old wooden seat, Miller likes to believe it's Shadow's tail, wagging one last time, telling her he's still waiting, and that he'll always be home,